Do you want to know how to beat the Instagram algorithm? Stick around. I'm going to share with you how the algorithm works and some tips and techniques that you can use to actually beat the algorithm and get much more visibility for your posts, reels, and stories.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so if you're like most people, you're frustrated with the algorithm. The algorithm. It's such a big hot topic. Nobody really knows what the algorithm is. It's a fancy word that gets thrown around. But the reality is that the Instagram algorithm is really just a process. It's let's say a calculation, mathematical calculation that Instagram does to decide what content to show each and every user, right? So it's actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting to sort through the millions of pieces of content to try to narrow in and show you what it believes is most relevant, most interesting to you based on your behavior. It's almost like having a personal assistant, that's going through the mall and pulling out, clothes for you in advance. It's actually a pretty good thing in the grand scheme of it if we can get our heads around it. So ultimately, the algorithm stems from Instagram wants you to spend as much time as possible inside the Instagram app. If you can understand that concept, why do they want you inside the Instagram app? Because the more people that they have using Instagram, right, and the more time that those people are spending inside of Instagram, the more that Instagram can charge for advertising, the more that Instagram becomes an attractive advertising venue. And that's all that it comes down to. So if we can understand that, now it's a matter of what are the things that we can actually be doing when we're posting with that in mind to keep our viewers, right, our followers, as engaged with the app as possible, because that's what Instagram wants. So let's look at 4 key factors that Instagram takes into account in terms of how it ranks content. Okay? The first is the type of content. Now, by type of content, we're talking about, is it a photo, is it a video, and even is it a regular post versus a reel versus a story. I'm not going to go too deep here today because technically there's a different algorithm for posts versus stories versus reels, but there are underlying themes that are similar to all, and that's what we're going to cover in today's video. The second factor is the poster. Who's making the post? Which account is it coming from? Right? And Instagram is going to determine how connected you are to that account. If you have liked, and commented on someone's post, have you ever noticed that you tend to see more of that person's post in the future? Right? That's Instagram saying, hey, you guys have some kind of connection. If you've liked or commented on their post, you must be a friend. So they're going to use that as part of their algorithm to determine what to show you in the future. You can even, on every single post, in the top right corner, there's 3 dots. You can click on it, opens up a little menu, and there's one item that says why we're showing you this post. And you can actually see for every single post a little explanation as to why that's actually in your feed. And you can tell Instagram if you want to see less of it or more of it from that particular poster as well. The third factor is user activity and interests. Now, this is one of the biggest changes to the Instagram algorithm this year. It used to be a lot more based on who you were following, right? Now, Instagram wants to show you things that you are interested in. So if you watch a lot of cat videos, then Instagram is going to show you more and more cat videos. Not necessarily from people who you already follow. You might see content from brand new people that you don't actually know yet, right? Same thing if you watch a lot of nature, outdoor adventure videos, golf videos, cooking videos. Instagram is going to show you more of that based on the interests and the activity that you are displaying. The last factor is the user engagement history, right? So it's going to actually see how long you have, potentially followed an account, how long over time, right, you've maybe interacted and engaged with an account. Those are also factors that are going to be taken into consideration in the algorithm sort of ranking of content, so to see what's going to show up first, second, third, fourth in your feed, whether it's in your post or across from stories. So now that we have a little bit of better understanding of sort of what the algorithm is and what it takes into consideration, let's look at some specific techniques that you can be using as part of your content creation in order to capitalize on what you know, right, and maximize your opportunity for more visibility and more engagement with your content. The first technique you can be using is to be creating more reels on a consistent basis. Reels is obviously the most popular element in Instagram right now, and not only is Instagram promoting it, but consumers are consuming it, right? People are into watching these short form videos. So if you want, to be beating the algorithm, you need to give what people are looking for, and it's going to get them staying more time, watching your content, because that's what's interesting today, short form video. So try to set yourself a schedule of posting reels on a regular basis. If you can do it once per day, great. If you can't, try to stay at least with a consistent schedule, every second day, 3 times a week, whatever the case may be. The more the merrier from that standpoint. A second technique is simply to keep up with trends, right? So a trend can be anything. It could be trending audio, it could be trending stories that people are talking about, and you want to get in on those conversations because that's what people are into in the moment. They're consuming, they're looking for content, and Instagram is going to feed them more content around a particular topic of interest that happens to be very popular right now. So keep an eye on popular trends and jump in on the conversation as quickly as you can. You'll have much more likely of your content being shown. Again, this gives you an opportunity to reach outside people who are not currently followers of yours and broaden your reach. One technique that I really love is to try to make your content shareable, right? Now, what do I mean by shareable? Well, something that people are going to be interested in sharing with their friends and their followers, right? So sometimes you just need to use prompts, and in the stickers category, there's definitely techniques that you can use where, you can have people add their own, caption or sticker to something. So it's sort of share and add the caption, and it kind of keeps things going. Using things like polls, quizzes are all techniques that people like to share because it's kind of an automatic engager, right? And the more that somebody is sharing your content, that's a trigger and a sign to Instagram saying that your content is interesting, right? Because if some people are sharing it, then maybe more people would want to. So Instagram is going to automatically go and start showing your content to more and more people. That's how we keep beating the algorithm. One hot tip that's really, really trendy right now, we're in spring of 2023, is carousels are performing way better than singular photos in posts. So if you're going to make a post with just a photo, try to identify how could you make several photos, right, as part of a carousel for that one post, right? It's kind of logical. Someone is going to spend more time within your content if they're scrolling through a few photos in a carousel as opposed to just looking at one. And if people are spending more time, right, on your content and your account, that's another trigger to Instagram that your content is interesting. So carousels are performing better than regular posts. As well, within Reels, using a green screen is actually also capturing a lot of attention right now, and people tend to be watching those more frequently, repeating them, and more interested in them than regular Reels. So capitalizing on using green screen as part of your Reels is also going to give you that extra bit of visibility because it's trending right now. Captions is a great way that you can capture people's attention and hold it, right? Again, the goal is to keep people within your content as long as possible. So if you're really good at storytelling, right, and you can write good captions with a nice headline that sort of draws people in, and then not just a little, 2 words to talk about your post, but give it some context, give it a little bit of background, give it a little bit of story. People like to, read if you're able to make it interesting, and engaging what you're actually talking about. So always think about providing value, right? Interesting content, but it could be entertaining, could be educational, it could be just motivational, right? But think about writing good captions that are actually going to draw people in for longer periods of time. Hopefully this technique is obvious, but you should be replying to all DMs and all comments on your posts, right? If people are taking the time to, engage with you, whether it's privately through a DM or publicly through a comment, that's a great sign to Instagram. But if you're not engaging back, then you're not building that relationship and that trust with that individual. So the more that you do reply back and engage, that's building a relationship. It might build a little bit more back and forth, and it's just kind of having a richer experience for that user, which is going to get them, right, to be seeing your content definitely more frequently in the future, but also telling Instagram overall that there's a lot of engagement around this content and wanting to push out your content further. Another quick tip, which is actually a bit of a myth buster, is you don't need to delete and repost content that maybe is not working so well for you. It doesn't have any impact on your long-term, account. And just deleting it, reposting it is a bit of a waste of time. So literally just move on, leave it, and focus on your next piece of content as it goes. Hopefully you're seeing a trend here with all this information in terms of what we said. Quickly to summarize, Instagram wants content that's going to keep people within the Instagram app. So the more that you understand that and provide quality content that's engaging, right, that's keeping people on your posts, right? So videos that are interesting, captions that people are going to read, carousels that people are going to scroll through, things that are going to make people share or comment, right? Focus your energies on all of those things. That's how you beat the Instagram algorithm in today's world, to get better visibility, more reach, right, and impressions, more followers, and continued growth for your social media success.